Hey guys, I'm Jacinta and welcome to the Fearlss podcast, where I interview athletes who have achieved incredible things. Today's guest is a 3 times world champion kickboxer. He's had 27 wins in the midweight and light heavyweight division, with only 3 losses in his career. In 2009, he made a comeback in kickboxing and knocked out the headhunter in a world record time of 1.8 seconds and was rated the best fight ever seen on Fox Sports. Please help me welcome Ian Jacobs.
Look at Jacobs, ripped, stripped and striated, more muscles than a seafood platter. As always, here's a cardio machine stand. The only question mark is, will ring rust affect Ian Jacobs? He's hurt him! My word, one strike! He's going to be over! This is incredible! The big kibosh! It may be the fastest knockout in kickboxing history! It's faster than Longanides Alexio! It's good night, Irene! Stan! I'm sorry, brother, your crown's been taken! One kick is one for the highlight reel. Flying front kick, one shot of Stan!
Unbelievable.
Off the power leg stand, he chambered the back leg to the front. He switched up. That was full pound airborne. Oh my word, I have never, ever, in all of my days, seen anything like that.
Going up to heat number 2, Ian Powerhouse Jacobs.
Wow, somebody get the Guinness Book of Records on the phone. Certainly the fastest knockout in the history of kickboxing.
Hello.
Hello. How you going?
Very good.
You're known for kickboxing.
Yep.
I've just told the guys all about your world records and your achievements. So I don't actually quite understand kickboxing. I know that you're punching, you're kicking, but like what actually happens? Like some of the listeners may not know.
Yeah, sure. It's a combination like between Muhammad Ali and Bruce Lee. So it's the same as in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
It's not like a martial art. It's a bit harder than martial art fighting. It's in a boxing ring and you're punching and kicking at the same time. And then I also got world titles in Muay Thai, which is punching, kicking, elbows and knees and stand-up wrestling. But with my world title, I didn't do the elbows. But yeah.
Wowzers, you must have had lots of injuries over the time.
Just a couple.
Mainly
Mainly from hitting, not from being hit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, arms and legs and breaking all that sort of stuff, yeah.
So with kickboxing, how'd you get into it? Like, was it something that your family did and you started as a child or...
Yeah, I started as a child. So it was originally, I saw Muhammad Ali on a black and white TV. And
black and white TV?
Yeah.
What? Hang on a second.
1974.
So how old are you now?
I'm 49.
Wow. You look incredible. If you're looking on the YouTube channel right now, you've got to see, I'll put up a photo later. Your body is incredible.
Thank you.
So you're 90, 49.
94, no. Yeah.
And then you're looking great.
Yep.
Let's pause here. How do you keep fit now? Are you still kickboxing or?
There's a few secrets to it. Yeah, no. I've created a new sport. It uses all like kickboxing, all the ball sports all in one. Can't tell you what it is, but it is epic. It's coming out soon.
Yep.
It's really high energy. It's safe. It's fun. It's non-contactable, but it's using all the fight skills and all the ball skills all in one. It's like the UFC of everything without contact. So you get this practice all your skills.
Yeah.
You get to compete against fighters using fight skills.
Yeah.
Without having to get hit.
Oh my God. That
And
sounds awesome.
Super fun, it's super fast. You got 3 levels. We've got entry rules, which anybody can do. Then fun rules that are set up for the age, size, fitness level, health.
Yeah.
Male, female, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So you got to work at the intensity of the person that you're competing with or playing with.
Yeah.
And then you got full comp rules. And full comp rules, like within 30 seconds of a minute, your heart rate's like 150, 200. It is intense.
Oh my gosh.
Really, really super. And it's like the chess of physical active sport of chess. So it's like really, you got to use your mind and your body, every single part. You can't be anywhere else when you're doing it. It's so intense. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So I do that.
Yeah.
I do that. That's my, I eat good.
Yeah.
I have a good love life.
Yeah.
And lots of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a beautiful family as well.
I have the best family. It's awesome. My little daughters, my son's over in the States,
Yeah.
owning his world. He's 29. He's a computer engineer. He's making changes to the world. I got a 3-year-old. Oh, she's 3 next week.
Yeah.
Year-old daughter who's absolutely perfect. Oh, she's just like crazy.
Aww.
Yeah,
And you said her name's Havana.
Havana, yeah.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd definitely probably be daddy's girl, melt your heart a little bit.
She owns me. I had strict parents, loving but strict, and with my son I was loving and strict, and I always said I'd never be that dad that everyone goes, you have a girl, you're gone. I go, no way, I'll still be strict. She owns me. She owns me. It's like, daddy. Okay.
Oh, you were saying before, like she fully gets into the same sport as you. A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, she's on. Like I'm not teaching her to fight yet until she understands how to control it.
Yeah.
But she's still like, I'm the only one she's allowed to fight with.
Yeah.
But she full on like go jump all over me. She's jumping off the couches on me, and rock and roll wrestling.
You're probably her inspiration a little bit.
Yeah. Well, when she sees it on, she's kickbox. She loves it. She comes down to the gym as soon as before we're there. Kickbox, box. She loves the new sport that I've created. She jumps into that as well. But absolutely just like an unstoppable energy. She just goes and goes. She's definitely going to be an elite athlete. Yeah. She's smart, but she does something once, like she'll jump in the pool, that's it, 5,000 times later.
Wow.
Jump.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
cool.
like.
So is that how you were like when you were a child, or?
Yeah. I was a kid that was jumping. I was like a mother's worst nightmare.
Sounds
jumping off the roof, riding the bike. Like I know when I was a kid growing up, all the doctors and nurses at the Brisbane Children's Hospital knew me by name personally, no matter what rotation it was, because I was every second week. And I got away with 99% of everything I did.
Oh, my gosh.
But I realise now with my daughter what I put my mum through. Because I was constantly like, I'd go out and I'd come off the bike and I'd rip myself open. I'd be bleeding half to death. And I'd stay out all day and play and then break my fingers and then wait till I got home and then Mum would have to take me up the hospital, and
she would have been mortified.
Oh, all the time.
You probably felt a little bit tough at the time as well.
But she's half the reason why I'm who I am, because she never told me it worried her. I never knew. So I just thought it was normal. If she had told me, I said, Mum, why didn't you tell me? I would have. I just thought it was just normal. Yeah. But she's always that. I'd say, Mum, I can fly. She goes, if you believe you can fly, you can fly. So I'd jump off the roof with the tea towel. But
you were
I'd get away with it, you know what I mean? Like I'd do it like 500 times, and the 501, usually the last time always, that Murphy's Law, you'd hurt yourself.
But that's cool, because then that makes you feel like you don't develop a fear on something, which would be really her fears if she imposed that on you.
Yeah, I didn't have fear as a child.
Yeah.
I learned fear later on, and my fears are a little bit different to most people's.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's go back to telling us about
where it happened.
Yeah,
I was 4 years old, 4 years of age. I saw Muhammad Ali on a black and white TV. I'm saying 1974. And I resonated with it. This champion of the whole world. I understood the whole world. Wow, and this guy fighting. And like I said, I was a crazy kid. So it gave me that. Like the passion was in me straight away. And I knew he was doing something good for the world. I resonated with that. Yeah. And it wasn't until I'd watched him a few times and he got out of his car. He drove up this driveway and got out of the car. And it was the first time I saw him calm. And he's turned around and he's gone, this is my parents' house. They never have to worry about another thing for the days they live. And I went, wow, that's what I want to do. I knew my parents were working 2 and 3 jobs. Yeah. I knew weren't a family that was on TV that had a voice. I knew I had to be world champion to have a voice to help the world. Yeah. And then that's where it started, where I wanted to do it. Yeah. And then when I was 6, Mum was like, no way, you're not going to be a fighter. Dad's an ex-part-time commando, and it was like, no fighters in my family. Yeah. But I was just driven by this passion that's where I wanted to be. But I remember when I was 6, and I was devastated. We're leaving our home. I'm like, what are we leaving for? And I'm in the back of the old GDS Monaro. We're traveling from Melbourne to Brisbane. Yeah, yeah. And my brothers are in another car, and I'm in the GDS. I'm in the back. Mum and Dad in the front. Yeah. And Muhammad Ali song come on the radio. And I knew then, I had this tingle through my body. I knew I was going to be world champion. I turned around and said, Mum, I'm going to be champion of the world one day. And she goes, no, you're bloody not.
At 6 years old?
6 years old. And we weren't allowed to answer back, but I knew, I love Mum. I had to tell her. I said, Mum, I'm going to be champion of the world one day. And she leant back, looked at me and goes, smack. He gave me a blood nose. Oh. And goes, do you like the feeling of that? That's what it'll feel like. And a fireball went off in my stomach. I mean, like the power of the sun. This crazy energy. Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, I'm going to be champion. I'm going to be champion for 2 days, all the way to Brisbane. I'm a champion. I'm going to be champion. I'm going to be champion. I had this fireball inside of me. Now, I had every reason to say why I wouldn't be world champion, why I never got to live. I had this dream, I never did it, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But these are the moments that define you. These are the things when you can go past those points. When you're angriest, you're saddest, you're the most depressed, you get the opportunity to put a peg on the moon. You know what I mean? You get really, and that's what this was. I spent that whole time, I'm going to be champion, I'm going to be champion, I'm going to be champion world. Now,
I just got goosebumps.
That fireball,
yeah.
like before I was a ring fighter.
Yeah.
I never started fights, but I used to get in the street fights a fair bit, right?
Yeah.
And I used to be called the ping ball. So what had happened, there'd be like 2 of us and there'd be like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we'd start fighting, someone would hit me and then this fireball would go off and I'd knock everyone out.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? Like it'd be like the super button.
Yeah.
And when I started ring fighting, I'd be fighting and I used to love fighting knockout experts because they hit me with a knockout punch and you hear the commentators go, wait for it. The fireball would go. And then I'd knock them out because I get this extra power that my mum started. She actually became my greatest asset. And it's really weird, but I realised that after I'd retired, when I look back on my career.
Yeah.
But So mum was probably the greatest thing that happened. That's where it started from. It started from that point. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like really inspirational.
Yeah.
And to, I guess, look back and see that she was the person that started you.
Oh, yeah. And my first fight, we hid it from mum because mum was like, not allowed to be a fighter as I was 18. I was living at home and it's like, I'm like, Mum, I want to be a boxer. You're not going to fight. You're not going to fight. And then I saw kickboxing on TV. And
How old were you at this stage?
17, 18.
Yeah.
And I was working at Lloyd Ships and I started as a cleaner. Then I trained, I worked all my way up and I ended up becoming purchasing officer.
Yeah.
And I'm in a suit and tie and had to put myself through night school to learn to read because I couldn't read properly.
Oh, yeah.
And but I said to my mates, we were out celebrating, and I said, and I saw kickboxing on TV, and I saw these world champions. I said to my mate, I'd beat these guys. If I was fit, I'd beat these guys.
Yeah.
I got to sign, if I ever lose this job, that I start fighting.
Really?
And the company went in receivership and lost a job and all that sort of stuff. So
No
that's
way.
where I started my career. And the funny thing was, the first time was everyone in my family knew except mum that I was having a fight. And I fought a guy. He'd had 17 fights, 10 knockouts. It's my first fight. He was 4 weight divisions heavier. So if you understand fighting, it's not normal what people do, but we were ready to go.
Yeah.
And my trainer, my mentor, my father, Wayne Spencer, the master, he's the real life Mr. Miyake. You know what I mean? Like absolutely like crazy, like really, really cool. Anyway, so having a first fight, second round, knocked the guy out, come back. Sunday night dinner the next night, we got 13 of our family and extended family and everything's there. And my sister-in-law goes, geez, you look good for having a kickboxing fight last night. And everyone stopped and I'm like, I stood up. I said, Mum, I know I've got to move out. You said if I fought, I've got to move out. I can't live under your house, but I'm going to be world champion. I'm telling you, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go all the way. And Mum's alike. She's turned around and they find a way out. She goes, she could tell that I was serious. And she goes, listen, you're 18 now. You can do what you want, because she knew I was serious. I was going to move out. Mum's always find a way around to let you get away with it, And that's what she did. And she came to my next fight. I didn't want her to. It was I had one amateur. My second fight was a professional Queensland title.
Yeah.
Guy had over 140 boxing fights and like every kickboxing fight he knocked out. And I was like, Mum, don't come to this one because, he was a badass, But she became my number one fan. We won that one, went the distance, won the title. And then from there, Mum became my greatest fan, my greatest,
Aww.
And it gets better. It gets better because like when I was 10, I saw, everyone's seen Rocky.
Yeah.
Right, the Rocky movie. Wow. Yeah. And I didn't just see it. I didn't want it. I actually desired it. I was like, oh my God, it was just the best movie ever.
Yeah.
And I got to live it. My first world title shot. It's a long story, but
like live the same as what Rocky did.
5 weeks notice.
Wow.
5 weeks notice. Cash Gill, Ange Gudis from Australia couldn't fight Cash Gill, 4 times world champion from England, and they pulled out. And basically, I got to have a crack at it. It was like 5 weeks notice. Got to train. And when I got there, the guy, he's called me pup. He didn't want to fight. He goes, I don't want to fight this pup and like all this crazy stuff. But anyway, I go, I'll give you a pup. Anyway, it was on my mum's 50th birthday.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
Like I could have fought Mike Tyson crazy. Had no idea what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
And anyway, 5th round, I've knocked him out. As he's gone down, as the referee's wiped his arms out like that, like to say the fight's over, as I put my hands up, every single training millisecond flashed in front of my eyes backwards. And by the time my hands were up, I was a 6-year-old kid standing in the ring.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
the most euphoric feeling. The day that my mum gave me the blood nose, it was like the whole life flashed in front of me, and I was like 6-year-old kid standing in the ring. It was epic.
Like you achieved
Mums,
it. And
yeah, it was just so. And they say that people say that, you know, you become world champion doesn't change you, doesn't do it. Hey man, I didn't sleep for 3 days, 3 nights, no drugs, no alcohol, no nothing. Just I just
Really?
could. I go. I got to go sleep. Oh, that's just like crazy.
yeah.
And that was my mum's 50th birthday for her, you know, like birthday present.
Oh, what an awesome achievement
Yeah.
for her. So
Yeah.
you missed out on a party, but you had something even more
Yeah.
that you could inspire her
Yeah.
with.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Like, you can fight someone that wants to win for themselves, but for me, it was always about my purpose in life. It was about my family. It was like that. And what I realized afterwards was when you really drive yourself for fighting for your purpose, fighting for your family, fighting for something more than yourself. Like, I look back and I used to think, why doesn't anyone want to fight me? Like, because I went and got all the titles straight away, and then I think everyone's going to want to fight me.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to fight me. I was like, wow. And it wasn't until I retired I realized, wow, I would have been a nightmare to fight. Because it's I can fight any style. I can knock out any punch. I'll break arms, legs. I'll die to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I fight when you fight for more than yourself. You're not fighting a human. You're fighting
Yeah.
a soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're fighting a purpose. It's a lot tougher.
And you probably have a different mindset because you're not out there for the fame and for the pictures and the glory and everything like that. It's deeper meaning for you.
Yeah.
So you will have more drive and
Yeah.
more
It's real.
more
It's
grit
really
to
real. And I had my trainer. His whole thing was, don't train you, torture you. His whole thing was, if I put you through every kind of mental and physical torment,
Yeah.
nothing's going to shock you in the ring.
Yeah.
Because when you're in there, it's a really full on place. Like,
Yeah.
especially when you're talking like, it's like driving a car at 600 kilometers an hour. You drop your concentration for 1 second, you're out.
Really?
At that elite level, that's all you need. Half a second, boom,
You're
fight's
done.
over. It's done. You're gone. And you got so much pain and exhaustion and focus under fatigue and strategizing and all these things that you have to do when you're absolutely tormented and trauma and all that sort of stuff.
So
you know?
how do you take, like, when you get hit, let's say, and it's a good hit, what happens? Like,
Well, for me, I had I had many different ways. And there's different kinds of hits too. Like I most people say relax when you fight.
yeah.
Like, I'm like sprung. Like, I'm like, and I stay set. I don't like, so when people hit me, my thing that I used to try and do is, someone hit me with a knockout punch, before their fist come back to the head, I hit them at least once.
Oh, right. Okay.
So when you reciprocate straight away,
Yeah.
when you counter punch straight away,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel the same. If you sit there and get hit, stop, think,
Yeah.
pain sets in.
Okay. Yeah.
So for me, it was just like
What can I do?
just straight, and it becomes an action. Like, it was an instinctual action for me. Like, and it was straight away, just basically being set and fight fire with fire, basically. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like, a lot of people would have that sort of, I guess, if they haven't trained their mind at all as well, they'd have
Yeah.
that weak mindset that they would.
It's physically, like, you have to be in the ring. You have to be fit. If you're not fit, you can be the toughest guy in the world. If you're not fit, you look so weak. You get embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's a necessity.
And you mean
have to do it.
fit physically and mentally
That's
as
the bit
well.
that's the bit I'm going to get to.
Yeah.
You have to be and physically, honestly, at the top, I'd say it's 10%.
Really?
Yeah, they say 70-30. Nah,
Yeah.
it's 10%, 90% mental in the fight game.
Right.
Like, because
okay.
when it's okay if you stand alone and your skill set's way better than somebody else's, but you get tested. No matter who you are, you get tested. Like, I've been tested like crazy, like with different things. And if you're not mentally conditioned, you're gone.
You lose it.
Like, the fights the hardest fights I've had have been physical, but it's been the mental part that you've had to, like, push through and, like, drive
Yeah.
through, and every single part of and I think that's where the underlying, I call it pyramid of power.
Mm-hmm.
When you do good things in your life, you know what I mean? When you're a good person, you train hard, you strategize, you do the extra work, you like, my training used to start when everyone else would stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? My fight starts when everyone else would stop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, when you get to that point when you're getting hit and you want to give up, you know, everyone has that point where everybody, as a fighter, as a business, and anything, you know, you
Yeah.
get that point where, I just want to stop.
Yeah. It's challenging.
Challenging, like that, and especially in the fight game. And that's
And
where.
that's probably because you're at that point of the edge of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah, you take them way out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
In the fight arena, it's traumatic. It's really traumatic, and at that point, that's where the training comes in. That's where the passion. That's where the pyramid of power, the underlying subconscious, beyond belief patterns, knowing. The strength. It's like a pyramid. It's been there for 3,000 years. When you have good things locked in there, you've done good things. You fight for the right reasons. You're the right person. It's even deeper than that again.
Yeah.
So
when you're in a fight, you feel like you're like at that point where you do feel that you are challenged.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that to keep going, that no matter what, you're able to, you're capable. You're just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until
you just keep going. You just keep going. You just don't give up. You just got to keep walking. It doesn't matter how big. It's like you want to jump on top of a pyramid. You got to do one block at a time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you'll get halfway up and you get taken back down to the bottom again. You got to get up again and you get taken down the bottom again.
Yeah.
And in a fight, like I've had fights where honestly I've come back to the corner and gone, what the F's going on? I've been out there for at least an hour.
Oh my God.
You get time distortion. Like get on a line and my trainer will be like, shut up, listen to me, look at me. He's get me back into it.
Yeah.
Like I've seriously been out there and felt like an hour or two. And if you're not mentally conditioned, those sort of things are like
exhausting,
yeah.
So have you ever been to a point where you're like, I'm done?
Oh yeah. I'd say I had one, the second world title fight is, I'll tell you that one first, and then I'll tell you the third one because it leads up to it.
Yeah, cool.
My second, when as a mental fighter, as the mental strength of a fighter, I've only ever met one other person who's mentally as strong as me that I know of, and that's a guy called Steve Vick. He was my training partner, but his determination to win was just crazy. And I'm on the way to the ring and nothing gets in my focus. I mean, I'm the most focused when I'm locked into the fighter, from the dressing room to the ring, to in the ring. I'm inside their eyes, inside their soul. You can't deter me from that.
Yeah.
On the way to the ring, and my masseur, he's like my brother, trains massage me every day. We talk, helps keep me, and he slaps me on the back and goes, break a leg, mate. I've never heard the saying. Yeah. And I've just stopped, turned around and said, what the F you just say that for? And I'm trying to keep concentrated. I stopped 4 times on the way to the ring. I turn around and he's trying to tell me, it means good luck. And I'm like, guess what happens the first round? I snap my fibula.
Oh my gosh.
I'm fighting a guy, Sam Solomon. And I've dropped him with a punch in the neutral corner. And I remember, I thought I had broken tendons in my leg. Yeah. I've twisted my leg. Yeah. My foot stayed still and my knee went sideways. And I went, right.
Oh God. Jeez.
And I've gone, right, it's not there. And I have this thing that I do, it's called body trance, where you put your whole body as one muscle. Okay. And I've done that 5 rounds, you couldn't even tell I'm doing jumping, spinning kicks, I'm doing everything. It was right. We won the fight.
Holy smokes.
Then talking about mentally being tested, that was the easy one. The next one was the hard one. I'm fighting a guy who'd basically knocked out, he's a middleweight, knocked out all the heavyweights, middleweights, knocked everyone out. Gurkan Özkan, the Turkish Tiger. We're meant to be fighting in 4 weeks. And I've promised the number 1 promoter in the world, Tarek Salak, that I wouldn't hurt myself. Yeah. Anyway, I had to ring him up. Of course, that night, my masseur's going, you've broken your leg. And I go, I haven't broken it, it's tendons. He goes, you've broken your leg. And I went out dancing that night because I'm celebrating and having a drink. And by the morning, my calf was the size of my leg.
Your
you know what I mean? It was
quad,
it was black, and it was. Go to the doctors, and of course they X-rayed it and it's broken. Yeah. I've got to ring this promoter up and tell him I've broken my leg. He goes, "Tell me you didn't break your leg." I said, "I broke my leg." Anyway, he goes, "I'm coming to see you." I said, well, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'll see you soon." Yeah. Jumps in a car. These Mercedes from Melbourne, drives straight up to Brisbane. Oh my God. Puts a contract in front of me and says, "When are you fighting?" I said, "Give me 8 weeks." Yeah. So I'm 5 weeks, I'm on one leg like Karate Kid. 3 weeks before the fight, I put my leg down. And but that's the beauty of my trainer. Like he is the real life Mr. Miyake. He is amazing. He he just finds a way. And excuse me. And he's 3 weeks for the fight. Put my leg down. We're training for the fight. We get in the first round. Yeah. I'm fighting this guy, and I break my other leg, my patella, crack my patella, bust my sternum. He punches me, drops me the first time in my career. I'm blind in one eye.
Oh, wow.
And you talk about and exhausted. I mean, like just totally felt like I've been run over by 10 buses, thrown off 10 buildings.
Yeah.
The pain, the exhaustion, and you're talking about being nearly broken. That was the closest point. It was like on a razor's edge. There's a photo. We'll give you a look at it. And they've got my arms up, trying to get oxygen into my lungs. I'm just like basically borderline unconscious at the same time from exhaustion and the pain.
Wow.
And just being mentally broken. He absolutely bashed me in the first round.
Yeah.
And then my trainer, you can see the photo, he's reaching out with his finger and he picks my chin up, looks me in the eyes. And when he does that, he just looks in your soul, you know, like he's like my second father.
Yeah.
And he goes, I've never asked anything of you, and win this fight for me, win this fight for yourself, win this fight for your family. And I've just looked at him and just went, I won't say it, but I've just gone, yeah. And just like, we just breathing deep. He's like, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
He won me that fight. He won me my trainer. We went 5 rounds.
Wow.
Went the distance.
And that was the first round that happened to you?
First round, yeah. First
Oh
round.
my gosh.
Yeah. And like my trainer won me that fight without a doubt. And that's where, if you talk about wanting to be great, you can be good learning from your own mistakes. To be great, you got to learn from others' mistakes, and you need someone like that in your corner. Like you know, he saved my life. Like, 'cause I used to be a little, you know, run around loud, and had friends that were really cool, and I got to go to the ring, and they were good people, but just put in circumstances and things in their life which ended up putting them in jail and stuff like that. They're the same people as me, you know. They'd stick up for women, stick up for people that you couldn't stick up for themselves, but ended up in jail and all that sort of stuff. But my trainer, he directed me. He directed my ability, my fighting ability, and sort of, when you talk about life and success, you want to surround yourself with mentors and people and learn from other people's mistakes. Don't learn from your own, you know. And that's how you become great. Yeah. But my trainer is like I said, like my second father. He's like my brother. He's like my soul friend.
Really cool that
mentor.
he could see that in you as well.
Yeah.
And was like, I can really help you.
Yeah.
And he knew what you were capable and believed you, which probably helped your own belief as well, like amplify that.
Totally.
Which is really cool.
Totally. And you need that person that you connect with, you know what I mean? Like, it's really important in life to have mentors that really connect and care and about you as well as themselves and where you're going and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's awesome. That's really inspiring. And I found the same when I've had a couple of mentors for different directions in my life. It's you at the time you feel like it's annoying or they're pestering you, but for the long term, it's about their caring, and it's about making they can see your potential, which is super awesome.
Well, my trainer definitely didn't take the nice road about teaching you. His was always torture, torment, aggravation. And the weirdest thing was, like, we had a group of probably 8 to 10 fighters. Every single one of them ended up champions. Like, I think 6 of them were world champions.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, we had this commando group. And but the thing was, like, I turned around, we had a reunion. I go, you know, when Wayne said this to you and said that, and they go, didn't say that to me. I go, what are you talking about? Like, he always said you couldn't do that. And he go, nah. And Wayne turned around and he goes, no, I spoke to you different how I spoke to him. That was what motivated you. You know, for me, it was like, he turned around and go, you're going to get knocked out this next fight. You know what it's like when you wake up and everyone's standing around you and the fight's over? Now get up and keep hitting. Like, and I'd be like, argh. But then he'd talk to someone else. He'd go, you can do this. Like, you can really do this, you know, because some fighters, that'll break them. Yeah. Whereas for me, it was like the thing that aggravated me the most. And I had what's called focus fury. Yeah. The more angry I get, the more focused I get. And he'd hone in on that. You know what I mean? Whereas most fighters get angry and they lose control. So it's like.
So he knew how to communicate with you and get like EQ, that drive.
EQ off the planet.
Yeah,
he's the wizard.
That's cool. That's really cool. Tell us about have you felt like you failed at anything, and if you have felt this way, what did you learn?
Well, what I didn't realize is I'm not scared of failure. I'm terrified of it. So
really?
It's it's like, and it's an asset but a burden at the same time. You know what I mean? Because but I realized there's heaps of things that I failed at in life. I used to think, I don't fail, I'll never fail. But what it was is I'd never give up because I was so terrified of failure.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's a big difference.
Yeah.
And you got to learn to sometimes and all that sort of stuff. But Yeah, there's been heaps of things that I failed at, you know, especially after my fighting career.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I could do anything else. And like in business, I've tried like heaps of things in business now. Like I've got it right now, and I've got it right a couple of times with a few different things. But there was heaps of stuff that I've done because it's not my natural ability. It's not my go-to. I failed heaps. And the one thing that I think you got to be really careful of in life, it's really hard to explain. You need your mentors, you need that sort of stuff, but frenemies are the worst. Like I had so many people, like I was so driven by who I am, what I can do, and I'd bring my ability from the fight game into business.
Yeah.
Now my ability as a fighter is I can fight any style, any way, chop, change, adapt, improvise, analyze, overcome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Power, like all that sort of stuff. And I'd do that with business, and I'd go, people would say, you can't do that. I go, yeah, I'll make it happen. They go, but you can't. I go, no, but I'll make it happen. And what I realized is these people that would put me on a certain road, and they go, no, you got to learn this, and you got to learn that, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. And I'd go to do this stuff, and I'd be like, oh, and it'd pull me back so far. I end up giving up or failing or whatever. And what I got to realize is, no, I can do the stuff I do. And like I make it happen. The people that know me in business go, mate, the one thing they say is, you make the impossible happen. You just somehow make it happen. Yeah. And that's the secret to, especially if you're an innovator and you want to succeed in something that's different or it's new, or you've just got to find a way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And what I found, one of the hardest things in life is when you trust people that pretending to be your friend but your enemy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing you got to be careful of the most, because a mentor and a frenemy can be very close at times. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You know what I mean? You got to watch those people. And I say it's like this. You look at it like a figure eight. Mm-hmm. Relationship, partnership, businessship, friendship. If it's a figure eight, it's not you're like a partner and a friend. It's not two zeros. Yeah. It's not 1 0. It's a figure eight. And when everything you do and say and helps them become better, and everything they do and say helps you become bigger and better, and you're growing together, then it's right. Yeah. So that's how I live my life now. I look at, is this an 8? Yep, great, keep going. If it's not an 8, well, let's see how we can change it to an 8. And if it can't, I'll move on or step away.
Which is great, because you want to be surrounded by people that help you grow, but also you will feel benefit out of it if you're helping them as well. Yep. So which makes sense. And
in business and the way that it all works. And that's where plenty of times I've failed, and plenty of times things haven't happened because of that. Yeah. And because, you know, it's an O, and you know, you're trying to make it work, but it's an 8, you know, it's too separate. And it's too far away, and it's not working. And you keep trying. It's like it's got to be an 8. Yeah. And that's and so things that I failed at. I made a lot of money once, and I wasn't used to having money, and I spent it all. And I didn't invest it, do all that, and I didn't realize. Like now, I understand that you don't have access to money when you make money. You invest and reinvest, and then the money that makes is what you actually live off and stuff like that. So that's probably the biggest lesson I learned. Yeah. What else?
I feel that's interesting, because a lot of people feel like, oh, I'll just make it, I'm all famous now, and then they're the ones that, you're correct, they spend it all, and then they're like, oh God, what's next? Like, and then they're a bit lost for direction.
Yeah, and I think what else have I? There's probably heaps. It's really weird because I'm really positive focused. I've got to really pull out the archives to work out what I failed at.
So you may
I probably one of the things it's deepest passionate to me is my first. I had a high school sweetheart, and I dreamt about her since I was 2, and then when
you were 2,
and then when we met, I was 15. She was 15, and I said, we're going to marry. You're going to have our children, and the day that we basically conceived our boy, I said, you're pregnant, you're going to have our child. I knew. And that was probably the biggest one that I failed at, just not because I come from a family where mum and dad were together forever, and that was probably, I look back on it now, and you can, as a young man, you can blame everybody, but it was probably my fault that it didn't work. Okay. You know, so it's probably the biggest one. Yeah. Yeah.
What did you learn from that? Like, have you learned some great lessons that you now have?
Figure eight.
Figure eight.
No, figure eight. You know what I mean? Well, the thing is, like, for me, I believe that, and you can only believe in what you've experienced, you know, otherwise it's a theory. And for me, I believe there's many soulmates that you can possibly meet, not just one. And whether it's been in a past lifetime, or you connect on another level. I've had like 5 sensational relationships, and all 5 of them, we've had the same dreams at times. I've been in a past life with castles, the whole doubling up, and
Really?
So whether it's actually been real, or whether it's our ancestors have met, the DNA memory, or whether it's been another soul, or whether you just connect really deep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the lessons that I've learned is you don't have to be with just the one person this day and age, even though it would be a perfect world, it would be. Don't let it affect you if you're not. If you can, that's great.
Yeah.
Then the people that like, I know I got some friends that are younger and they've been in 20-year relationships, you know what I mean? And they're only like their 40s now,
Yeah.
into high school. And I think that's just absolutely like 1 in a million. Beautiful, love, great, love it, and there's other people that just can't do it, and it's like wherever you end up, wherever that is, just give it your best shot and learn what you can from the people that you had amazing relationships with. That's one of the things that I've taken out of life. I don't look back and regret any relationship I've had or friendship or anything, and I learn from it, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
And I've had an amazing life, like crazy, powerful life with the fighting, crazy, dangerous life. I've nearly died like 1,000 times, and then I've had the most deepest, romantic, wild, adventurous relationships as well.
Yeah.
Done some crazy stuff there, and it's like I don't regret any of it. And I've had really good parents, good parenting.
It's nice balance, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel really sorry for people the one that gets me the most is people that can't be good parents. You know what I mean? Like, I've made my mistakes, sure, but I've done a lot of good as well, and that's what it's about. No one's perfect. Everyone's going to make mistakes, but it's about being the best parent that you possibly can, not just giving up, walking away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like doing what you can, and especially being older as a parent. Like now, oh my God, my daughter, so good. It's so good. Like I just don't get people that go, oh, my child, I just go, man. For me, I remember going to hospital when you see a baby born, oh my God, what women do for mankind, a man can never do, ever come close to. You know what I mean? It's just so magic, so beautiful. But I remember I was going to hospital and I bumped into this guy who I'd met a few times out. You know what I mean? And he's covered in tats. He's a big tough guy, and his girl was having twins and they were premature.
Yeah.
And it's like, here I am, my baby's just been born, most beautiful, magical, like, oh my God, so perfect. And then his babies were early and they had a 1% chance of living.
Oh.
Every day, we'd bump each other all the time. And here I am having this joy, and he's just, and he loved his kids that much. I believe him and his wife, the love they had for these children is what kept them alive. They didn't give
Really?
up. He has the most amazing relationship with them now. Like, it's so cool. But something changed in me then, and it's like, I love my daughter as it was, right? But he goes, I just want to hear them cry. They don't have the energy to cry. Oh. So when my daughter would cry, I love that. You know what I mean? Like, I never ever got upset with her crying, ever. Still don't.
Yeah.
I just love that. And when she'd have a shitty nappy, it'd be like, I got the privilege of helping her become clean.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
So
it's
you
never
looked at it as-
all the things that people get upset with children. For me, it was like, and always has been, it's a gift.
Yeah.
And you've got this gift to create a better version of yourself, because it's actually you broken off, looking back at you and the person you love. It's this mixture, and it's you looking at you. You know what I mean? You connect in a way that nobody can connect.
Yeah.
And it's them looking at you going, you're God. Like, who am I? Who do you want me to be? What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the opportunity that you've got, and that's what life is. You know what I mean? You got that opportunity to create a better version of yourself.
Yeah.
How can you not do that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How can you not give it your best?
Yeah, you're
You're not going to be perfect. No one is. You know what I mean? Circumstances might pull you away, and breakups and all that sort of stuff can happen. But you just that's the one thing you can never give up on, ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what. Yeah. And whether you're in their life a little bit or a lot, you've just got to do the best of what you got. Every second you can, and help.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a gift.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's probably my 2 children are my greatest. I'd give up everything I've ever done for that in a second and a heartbeat, not even a thought.
Yeah.
1,000 times over for my kids. They're so good.
Very lovely.
Yeah.
I almost got teary too, and I haven't met them yet.
Don't say I didn't
Okay.
cry. I didn't cry. I was
So-
close.
Tell me about your movie. You said earlier a movie.
Jesus.
I want to hear. Is this about your
Oh,
life, or is it
yeah.
something that you've created?
Yep.
Tell me.
No, it's I started writing my book,
Yeah.
and I thought I gotta write my book. So trying to find time. And I
About
started,
your life.
Yeah, and I got like 2 pages into it. And I remember sitting there just going, this would be a really cool movie.
Oh.
I went to sleep. I got woken up at 3:33 in the morning by a guy, Jason Healy he's in America. He's the guy that he promoted the blue electric cigarette
Yeah.
in Australia. He was in Australia at first, and he's a good friend of mine. They banned it here, so he took it to America. And he sold it for $400 million.
Oh, wow.
Crazy! And anyway, he rings me up at 3:33 in the morning, drunk. He's with one of his good mates. He's a producer, Ryan Ross, and he goes, "Oi!" I won't say the way he said it, usually drunk, and "Oi, get up!" What? He goes, "Do you want to do a movie?" And I go, "Hey mate, I was just writing my book last night. I'm 2 pages into it. I'm just like thinking this would be a cool movie." He goes, "Get on the plane." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I'll book your plane now. Get on the plane tomorrow. Come here." And I said, "Mate, no, give me a couple of weeks." And so flew us over to America. We sat down. We went up into the mountains. He's got a property up in the mountains.
Yeah.
I had Ryan Ross, Josh, and himself, and myself. 3 days. We just did lockdown, like whole heap of beer, whole heap of everything.
Yeah.
The fire. It was awesome. It was just this hand carved big house like up in the mountains. It was beautiful. But we went through, and I've never gone from when I was born. I've told my stories, but from when I was born to when my father passed.
Yeah.
And I've just sat there and I was like, wow. But I'm saying to these guys, it's really funny because I'm getting into the story, and they're like, their chins are like hitting the ground, their eyes are like, and I'm like, like when you nearly die and your life flashes in front of your eyes, and they're going, nah. And I'm going, like when you have a threesome and they're going, nah. Like I'm going, mate, come on, really?
Give me something.
You gotta, what I mean? Like, but all these different stories. When you get in a fight with like 10 guys and they're going, nah. It's like it was, and there's heaps of other crazier stuff like that was in there. But it was a really cool experience, to actually go through my whole life.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I have got a really good story to tell. And because what I've done, what we haven't spoken about, is everything I've done is for my family, but also for my purpose in life is to help and guide. Like we've got my business partner, we've got a safe program. We help kids, and I do heaps with disengaged youth. I do heaps with anti-bullying, anti-suicide prevention for kids, families, women, children. We've got all these programs that have been running for years and really successful stuff, and we've got the best stuff of that coming yet. But it's really weird. I originally started, I wanted to be a world champion, so I had a voice. Because I knew we didn't come from the family, but I kickboxed instead of boxed. Kickboxing didn't have the money in it. Do you know what I mean? It didn't have the global, I become pound for pound, fastest knockout, world champion, all that stuff, but still internationally, not many people know me. Even here, people don't know who I am. Yeah. But the weird thing is now I get to do, my deepest passion was that, my life purpose was that, and it's really weird because it's going to come around now. We do the movie, and I've got this new sport, and I'm going to get my voice. So I'm still going to get my voice to be able to help.
So you've basically, you are creating what you wanted anyway.
Yeah, and it's really weird. Like I keep going back to that pyramid of power. Stay true, and I teach people the 3 parts to the pyramid. The bottom part is who you are, what you've done. The top part is where you want to go and what you want to do. That's your passions, your desires, your goals, whatever it may be. And the middle is just the bits that make you get there. Yeah. The people, the mentors, the things you have to do to get there in the middle. Yeah. And like people don't realize what they've actually done. Do you know what I mean? In the bottom. But that pyramid, when you're building it and you put blocks in it, you know what I mean? Like I sit there and I go to kids, like, listen, I want you to go out this week and I want you to do something good. Find an old lady somewhere and help them, mow their lawn, do this, help your mum, give her a big kiss and cuddle, tell you love her. And they come back and they're like, wow. Yeah. You know what I mean? They've got this amazing, and I go, put them in the pyramid. And then they go do some TAFE course, or they go do, and I go, they go, I haven't really done much in life. I go, did you go to school? Yeah, but I quit in year 8. Well, you still did it. Put it in there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you realise that they've got this base. Yeah. And you're focusing on the great things and the achievements rather than... You learn from your mistakes, but you build this pyramid of power, you know what I mean? And that's what you have underlying with this, and it goes. It's like your soul. You know what I mean? It's a deeper version of yourself that helps you and empowers you through life and all the things that you need to do. And when you get mentors and you get opportunities, like if I'm a cleaner,
Yeah.
I'll be the best cleaner.
Yeah.
No one will clean better than me. You know what I mean? If I'm just like, I have to be the best cleaner.
Yeah.
I've got to do my best.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you resonate. You know what I mean? And people see you. Mentors take you. People take you under the wing. They open new doors. Things happen for you. Do you know what I mean? And that's what this has been for me. And the most amazing part is I seriously have had, like, as a fighter, I don't know anyone. I've broken so many bones. I've had so many hard things, but it's what I chose to do. It's for my purpose. It's for my for my family, for my purpose, and I've done it. And even though I didn't get it out of kickboxing, it's actually gonna probably even work out better because I get to tell this amazing story of who I am, what I've done, why I've done it. And a big part of, like, we've created this new app that we're aligning with Kids Helpline. It's going to be a culture revolution. It's going to help protect kids from bullying, but also help change them from bullies to heroes. Do you know what I mean? Like, change that over and then help prevent suicide and, like, kid suicide and all that sort of stuff. And it's an amazing...
When will that app be launched?
Well, we're in discussion with it now. I just did that fight with Phil DeBella for charity raising for it.
Yeah, it was a great fight.
Yeah, Phil DeBella Coffee, he went from 167 kilos to 91. He lost 76 kilos over 2 years. Trained 2 years to do it, to fight me. And we had an amazing, like, fundraising thing there. And it's when it happens, we're not too sure because we've just got to sit down with tech people and find out how it all works. But it's definitely coming. It's going to be the main charity behind my new sport. Which is pretty cool. But also it's going to help, and that's when I'm going to have that voice, and I'm going to get other people, and we're going to create and do the movie, do the sport, do all that stuff, and then really have a voice to get out there and make changes in the community, and to help. And a lot of the time, what people don't understand is, like with bullying, it's so bad. What people that aren't experiencing it, adults, they're like, oh, the kids are just bullying, who cares, man? It's devastating. Kids are committing suicide over this stuff. It's just bad.
Do you feel that's because, like, I think to a degree, but like, bullying has helped me when I was a kid because it made me stronger in other areas.
Totally.
So then, like, with this suicide and stuff like that, like, it makes it even more, like, I don't know, like, you sort of wanted them to experience it a little bit.
No, totally. I agree. So it's about building resilience. So this is the change with bullying. When you've got, bullying, a lot of times bullying will happen when you haven't conditioned your children. I know it sounds bad, but you haven't conditioned your children enough to be resilient and stand up for themselves. So it's nature's way. There's a scientist, I forget what his name is, that actually proved it, that kids that get bullied not all the time, but most of the kids that get badly bullied, it's nature's way of hardening them up for life. Preparing them for life. It's like the balancing thing. But at the same time, as parents, what will happen a lot of the time when the kids get bullied, the kids change their behavior. They start becoming bad. They come home, they're sad, they're not eating, they're misbehaving. And so parents come down on them as well. And so the difference is when you're an adult and you're depressed, it's a cycle. It's a cycle, I'm down, but it'll come good. I know it'll come good. It always does. For children, they actually don't understand that. They think that's their life forever. So this is where the danger is. So you teach children that it's a cycle. And you've got to guide them, not help them through bullying. You know what I mean? And when it's serious, you need to help them. You've got to really watch. So it's usually 3 days, 3 weeks, I find, where you've just got to totally, when your children aren't being themselves and they're misbehaving or something's not right, stop the press. Give them 100% concentration, get them back on the right track, find out what's going on, guide them. Don't help them too much unless they need it. But you've got to watch out for the signs, you know what I mean? Like when kids are, what happens a lot of the time is they're getting bullied, they've got stuff going on, they're not talking to you about it. You come down on them, teachers coming down on them, people are bullying them, and that's their life. They think this is my whole life. And then they think I don't want to live anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't want this to be my life. And so what you've got to do is you've got to teach them it's like being hungry. Like for me, I straight away I go, depression is like hunger. Have you think about, and I'll do it on massing, I do it when I speak. Okay, I want you to close your eyes. Think about when you've been really hungry. Think yourself being really hungry right now. How good would that cheeseburger taste or that Big Mac right now? How would, when you get to eat? And that's like, I go, well, that's what depression's like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's being really hungry. So food
Yeah.
can't taste so good unless you're being really hungry.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're depressed, the thing with it is when your life comes good, it's going to taste so good.
Yeah.
And this is where my biggest life achievements have come from the deepest, darkest, saddest, most angriest points.
Yeah.
So when you teach people how to find that, when you teach them, everything else goes away. Now find out who you really are, what you really want to do. Put a peg in the ground, make it a principle. And that's never let that happen again. Never that and that's where it's a strength and it becomes in your pyramid.
Yeah.
Your pyramid of power. You go, okay, this is who I am. I'm never going to put myself in that situation again. Not that you can't always, but you know,
you're prepared.
Yeah,
for next time.
yeah. You know what I mean? And so, and when you guide the children, like so, for example, like I with my son, I've had stages in his life where he started being really misbehaving and started doing stuff, and he's a great kid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. You know, the mother's rung me up and said, what's he doing? He's doing this, he's doing that. What have you been doing? And I'm like, well, hang on. Why is he doing it? It doesn't matter. He's doing this, he's doing that. No, well, hang on. So I'll spend time with my son.
What's the underlying?
Yeah, and I find out there's this really deep and dark, sad stuff going on here.
Yeah.
So I'll spend time with him and get him back on track. And then I'll go, okay, son, if you go this way, this and this and this is going to happen. If you go that way, that and that's going to happen. And I'll let him choose for himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then he comes back, he's like, wow.
That way he feels empowered because you're not telling him how to be.
No.
He makes the decision for himself.
Yeah.
And then whether it's, well, there's no right or wrong. You're going to either learn from either direction.
Yeah, that's right.
And, like what
and
you
it gives
said.
you and it gives you the ability, especially when they go through teenage years, like because it's like, you know, grow up, stop being a child. They do something wrong. Shut up. You're only a kid. You know, it's like, hang on, am I an adult? Am I a kid? They get confused. Then they shut off to you, disrespect, and they listen to their mates because they know everything. You know, all that sort of stuff. But it's really important to make sure, and like, you can actually make yourself be wrong in a situation so your child's right.
Yeah.
And then you stop and you go, actually, yeah, thank you. You've taught me something.
Yeah.
And you give them, but it also gives you the right to go, no, hang on. You need to really listen now. I'm right about this one. And they'll listen.
Okay.
And they'll watch and they'll learn. You know what I mean?
Right.
So sometimes you have to put it down and say, this is really wrong because it's really dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that's cool because it makes sense. Like when if your parent's getting up all the time, it's nagging, and you're like, oh, I don't want to listen. But what you're saying is it's a great technique because then, like, I'm like, yes, I got it right. And then
that's right.
you are
As
more
a
inclined.
young adult, you've got to give your children respect. You tell them to be adults. You've got to, and you can purposely make yourself wrong, you know, or each generation gets 20% smarter and taller, right? But it's only in 5% of reality because that's what they've experienced. They haven't experienced life.
Yeah.
So they sit there and they go, oh, I know this, I know that. And what happens is because parents, they're talking about their 5% of reality that they know. And life is 95% what they don't know.
Yeah.
So when they're outside that realm and you're going, you have no idea what you're really talking about. But hang on, just stop, see what they are talking about what they know. Let them be right about things, let them be right about and teach you something so that when you're talking about the 95%, they can comprehend, okay, I haven't learned that yet.
Yeah.
I will. I trust you. I trust your dad. I trust your mum.
Yeah.
All right. You know, and that's when you have that real cool relationship where you can give your children the gift to be smartest out of all their friends. Yeah. And they can sit back and go, this and this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it does. Well, their mates go, wow, how did you know that? Well, dad told me. Well, mum told me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and it builds that ability and really
confidence and within themselves.
Totally.
And the app, tell me about that. So is that something that's going to help parents? Like,
it's going to help everybody.
Or is it going to be?
It's going to help everybody. I can't sort of say too much on it yet, but it's so good.
Where will you advertise this at? Will this?
It's going to be in every school, every home. We want it to be in contact. We're going to have. It's a voting app, and it's also a like check-in app. Yeah. About you know, bully or hero, you're voting, happy or sad, you know, and a daily, you know, we have competitions in there where, like for our game, for example, it's going to be one set price for everybody. But if these kids give us information on there, then they get like really cheap games. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So every kid's going to want to do it, so they want to play the game. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's also going to help kids that are being bullied. It's going to help bullies understand what they're actually doing. It's going to help people that just it's just going to connect everybody. But most importantly, it's going to get every kid in contact with Kids Helpline. Yeah. Because we want them to know they're not alone. Yeah. We want them to know if you need to talk to someone, someone's going to be there. Because sometimes the parents don't realise, you know, like I said before, the parents can come down when they're in a really depressed situation and they're misbehaving and parents come down on them worse, they make the situation worse. They don't know. Yeah. But if we've got this app and then they can talk to someone, they can relate to other kids, they can talk to a professional, you know, and if needed, the professional then can talk to the parents and, you know, and help. You know, it's a whole educational platform just to help with
it's like building like a support network, so then therefore everyone just feels like on the good page. And
24/7 kids helpline, 24/7, 7 days, you know, any reason, anywhere, anytime, they are there. They are unbelievable. Like I've worked with a lot of organizations, and they are by far the best. And it's like I think they're from like 5 to 25-year-olds.
Really?
Their range.
5-year-olds on the phone.
Yeah, well, I think that's their range. Yeah, but yeah, they'll take any call, in other words, from anyone.
Yeah, right. Reason. Okay. I can't imagine ringing at 5, but I guess like you said.
Yeah, I might have that wrong. I think it's 5 to 25. It might be like it might be 8 to 25 or something. But it is young. It is young.
It sounds young. So tell us your advice. Let's go top 3 tips for anything. Actually, you've given us an all-rounder in life.
Okay.
You've given us a bit about your sport. You've given us a bit about your life.
Top 3.
Kids and
top 3. Ooh, I love's number 1.
Number 1.
Love. The 3 C's: care, connect, communicate. In relationships, friendships. The figure 8. You got to have that figure 8.
Yeah.
And just be the best version of yourself every day that you can. You know what I mean? And really be like grateful and thankful for everything that you've got, no matter what you've got. You know what I mean? Like I get really not upset, but I feel sorry for people that have some little problem and make out like they feel that it's this big drama, the end of the world. And, you know, and you see this stuff that's happening all around the world, you know, to people. And like, we're so gifted. We're so lucky here. We're, you know, our worst nightmare is someone, you know, what they say, your worst nightmare is someone else's dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I sit there and I saw something, I won't talk about it, but someone sent me something. I don't normally look at it. And it was this Indian lady, young girl, she's probably 20, and the things that happened to her from her community, they all turn on her. They're all her family and friends. And from that day forth, I thought, I'm never, ever going to be upset, no matter how bad my life is at anything. You know what I mean? I thought, how could I disrespect that woman and other people like that by having a life where you're gifted with so much, you know what I mean? And you just got to do your best with what you got. Yeah, so that'd be my 3: the care, connect, communicate, figure 8.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, and just be the best version of yourself.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast today and on the YouTube channel.
Woohoo.
Thanks for listening in, guys. If you're listening on the podcast, please leave a 5-star review. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the Fearless Challenge.
Are we on? Yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, what are we doing?
First one that moves their feet loses.
First
You're not allowed to move. Set your feet.
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
Hands? You ready?
Yeah.
So you can push, you're not allowed to grab, you just got to push or defend.
Yeah.
The first one that moves their feet loses.
Oh, God. All right. 3,
2, 1. No, you got to put your hands up. 3, 2, 1. Ah, you cheated.
Oh!
See that? Grab my fingers.
Again. Let's do it again.
Ready?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Pretty good. She's grabbing.
Alright. Feet of Sorry. I'm a cheater.
Pretty good though, because most people are like, oh, look at this. She's good.
Sweating.
She's good. It's probably more nerves.
Am I meant to push you back?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She's
Are you waiting for my push, so therefore...
Yeah. Gross.
Look!
Ah, goes again. That's 3 to me. Grabs me. That's the same as moving your feet.
Alright.
Ah, here we go.
Do you talk to people when you're like...
Bye.
Yeah.
I never used to. There was one that when I broke my leg, the first time.
Yeah.
We spoke the whole fight. We were like talking like mates.
Like friends?
When I
Oh, shit.
she won't move her legs, will she? Just start.
Alright. How many rounds do we do? Is it 5? Like just like...
Yeah, that's 4 to me. That's four. It's 4 times you've cheated.
Alright, I'm ready.
Ah, look at this. She's done. We won't get anywhere now.
This is fun.
She's good. Come on. Ah! I got her feet to move. Come here.
Nice.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh, how good.
Alrighty. Legend. Thanks.